When rescue workers arrived at Thunder Creek on that cold November morning, they expected to find an injured wild horse. What they discovered instead would challenge everything they thought they knew about animal instinct and leave them questioning the very nature of loyalty itself. But before we dive into this incredible story, drop a comment below and let me know, where in the world are you watching from? I love connecting with viewers from different places. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around until the very end of this story because what happens next will absolutely blow your mind. It was November 15th, 2019, when Park Ranger Sarah Martinez received the call that would change her perspective on wildlife forever. A wild Mustang had been spotted standing motionless by Thunder Creek in Colorado's Rocky Mountain wilderness for 3 straight days. At first, we thought it was just a horse that had wandered away from a ranch, Sarah later recalled. But when local residents confirmed it had been there for 72 hours without moving, eating, or drinking, we knew something was seriously wrong. The temperature had dropped to 28 degrees Fahrenheit the night before. Any normal horse would have sought shelter or at least moved to find food and water. But this magnificent bay stallion, later named Thunder by the rescue team, stood like a statue beside the rushing waters, his eyes fixed on something beneath the surface. Sarah assembled her team immediately. Wildlife veterinarian Dr. James Cooper, animal behaviorist Lisa Chun, and 2 experienced horse handlers made the treacherous journey up the mountain trail. What they found when they arrived would haunt them for months to come. The horse was beautiful, Dr. Cooper remembered. Probably around 8 years old, well-muscled, clearly a wild Mustang who'd lived his entire life in these mountains. But something was wrong. He was trembling, not from cold, but from what looked like emotional distress. The team approached cautiously. Wild Mustangs are notoriously skittish around humans, often fleeing at the first sight or scent of people. But Thunder didn't move. He acknowledged their presence with a brief glance, then returned his gaze to the water below. "I've worked with horses for 23 years, said Lisa Chun, the animal behaviorist. "I've never seen anything like this." The horse was clearly in distress, but he refused to leave that spot. Every time we tried to coax him away with food or gentle pressure, he would become agitated and move closer to the riverbank. That's when Dr. Cooper noticed something that made his blood run cold. Fresh hoof prints in the mud, not just Thunder's, but smaller ones. The prints of a foal. If you're enjoying this story so far, hit that like button to let me know. And seriously, don't click away because what they discovered next will leave you speechless. Dr. Cooper grabbed his equipment and waded into the shallow edge of Thunder Creek. The water was numbingly cold, and the current was stronger than it appeared from the bank. He followed the small hoof prints that led directly into the water, his heart sinking with each step. 30 feet downstream, caught between 2 large boulders and partially submerged, he found what Thunder had been guarding. A young foal, no more than 6 months old, had somehow fallen into the creek and drowned. But this wasn't just any foal. The marking on its face was identical to Thunder's distinctive white blaze. This was his offspring. "I've seen a lot of heartbreaking things in wildlife rescue," Dr. Cooper said, his voice breaking even years later. "But nothing prepared me for that moment. This stallion had been standing vigil over his dead foal for 3 days and nights. He was literally dying of grief and exposure rather than abandon his baby." The team now understood Thunder's behavior. In the wild, horses form incredibly strong family bonds. Mares will often refuse to leave dead foals, but for a stallion to display such devotion was almost unheard of in scientific literature. But the story was about to take an even more incredible turn. As Dr. Cooper carefully lifted the small body from the water, Thunder finally moved. But instead of fleeing, as everyone expected, the stallion walked directly into the creek and positioned himself next to the veterinarian, as if he understood that help had finally arrived. "It was like he knew we were there to help," Sarah Martinez recalled. "This wild horse, who should have been terrified of humans, was actually collaborating with us." Thunder allowed the team to guide him out of the water and up onto the bank. He was severely dehydrated, hypothermic, and had lost significant weight for not eating for 3 days. But more than that, he was emotionally shattered. The team made the decision to bring Thunder to the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center 60 miles away. In most cases, wild horses are treated and released back to their territory. But Thunder's case was different. He had suffered not just physical trauma, but psychological damage that could take months to heal. The journey down the mountain was unlike anything the rescue team had experienced. Thunder walked calmly beside them, occasionally looking back toward the creek where his foal had been found. It was as if he understood that leaving meant saying goodbye forever. Animals grieve differently than humans, explained Dr. Cooper. But what Thunder displayed was unmistakably mourning. The depth of his emotional response challenged everything we thought we knew about wild horse behavior. Let me know in the comments, have you ever witnessed an animal displaying such human-like emotions? Your stories always fascinate me. At the rehabilitation center, Thunder's recovery became a testament to the healing power of time and compassion. For the first week, he barely ate and spent most of his time staring toward the mountains where he'd left his foal. But slowly, something remarkable began to happen. The center housed several other rescued horses, including Luna, a mare who had lost her own foal to a mountain lion attack just months earlier. Against all expectations, Thunder and Luna began to form a bond. It was like they recognized each other's grief, observed Dr. Rachel Stevens, the center's lead psychologist who specializes in animal trauma. They would stand side by side for hours, not interacting much, but clearly drawing comfort from each other's presence. As weeks turned into months, Thunder began to show signs of recovery. He started eating regularly, gained back his lost weight, and even began to display playful behavior with the other horses. But the most incredible transformation was yet to come. In March 2020, Luna gave birth to a healthy foal. And Thunder, the grieving stallion who had nearly died protecting his dead offspring, became a surrogate father to the newborn. I've been in this field for 30 years, said Dr. Stevens. I've never seen a stallion who wasn't the biological father take such immediate and protective interest in a foal. Thunder was acting like that baby was his own. But the most unbelievable part of this story was still to come. In May 2020, 6 months after Thunder's rescue, the rehabilitation team made a decision that would normally be considered impossible. They were going to attempt to release both Thunder and Luna, along with her foal, back into the wild. Typically, horses that have been in captivity for extended periods struggle to readapt to wildlife, explained Sarah Martinez. But Thunder had shown such strong paternal instincts with Luna's foal that we believed he could not only survive, but thrive as the leader of a small family unit. The release day was emotional for everyone involved. The team transported the 3 horses back to the area near Thunder Creek, though far enough away to avoid traumatic associations with the original location. What happened next still gives the rescue team chills. As soon as the trailer doors opened, Thunder stepped out and immediately surveyed the landscape. But instead of bolting for freedom, as most wild horses do, he waited. He positioned himself between Luna and her foal and the potential dangers of the wilderness, then slowly led them away from the humans and toward their new life together. It was like watching a grieving father become a protector again, Dr. Cooper observed. Thunder had transformed his loss into purpose. Today, 3 years later, Thunder, Luna, and her foal, now a strong young horse named Hope, still roam the Colorado wilderness together. Park rangers spot them occasionally, and Thunder has even been seen with other horses that have joined their small herd. The stallion who once stood vigil over his dead foal for 3 days, refusing to eat or drink, had become the leader of a new family. His grief had transformed into fierce protection and love for his adopted offspring. Thunder taught us that animals experience emotions far more complex than we ever imagined, reflected Dr. Stevens. His story challenges our understanding of grief, healing, and the capacity for love that exists in the animal kingdom. But perhaps the most beautiful part of Thunder's story is this. Every year, on the anniversary of his rescue, park rangers report seeing him standing by a different part of Thunder Creek. Not the location where his foal died, but a peaceful bend upstream where the water runs clear and calm. He stays for exactly 1 hour, as if paying respect to his lost offspring. before returning to his new family. Some call it coincidence. The rescue team calls it remembrance. If this incredible story touched your heart like it touched mine, please hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing animal stories that will restore your faith in the power of love and healing. And I'm seriously curious, where in the world are you watching from? Drop your location in the comments below. I love seeing how these stories connect people from all over the globe. What did you think of Thunder's story? Have you ever witnessed an animal displaying such profound emotional depth? Share your experiences in the comments. I read every single one, and your stories inspire the content I create. Don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss these incredible true stories that prove the animal kingdom is far more amazing than we ever imagined. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.